It is a horrible idea that there is somebody who owns us, who makes us, who supervises us, waking and sleeping, who knows our thoughts, who can convict us of thought crime, who can do thought crime, just for what we think. Child made in the image of God. Oh no, you're not. You're a faggot. And you can't join your church and you can't go to heaven. This is disgraceful. It's inhuman.
What I don't understand is, after everything that's happened, why do people still follow and support Donald Trump? Why do they still support him? Why do they still agree with Donald Trump? My mind cannot comprehend. You know, I get this, oh, you're just a typical liberal. And I'm like, you say that like it's a bad thing. Right now, I have not, in my lifetime, really felt true pride in that phrase, in that term, liberal, before. I feel pride in it now to be counted as everybody today. Everybody today is talking. If it's not the dog, it's the rat noises or it's a cat meowing. So pardon me for the sound effects. I don't understand. I don't understand. We have the Republicans making it okay for the mentally ill to own guns. When I was having problems with depression and anxiety and borderline suicidal depression, I was able to go and purchase a gun. And I pretty much didn't expect I'd be able to. I figured they'd do a background check and figure out that I was in treatment for these conditions. But I was able to purchase this gun, and I don't think they actually did any kind of a background check on me. And then it made me realize that nobody really cares. That's how I felt. Nobody cares if I live or die. My government doesn't care if I live or die, because they let me purchase a gun when I was borderline suicidal. My government doesn't care, which wasn't really the best message for me to hear at that time when I was already walking around feeling like nobody gave a rat's ass. I'm finally over the, oh, I don't get any presents anymore on my birthday or Christmas phase. It took me a while to outgrow that little kid in me that loves opening and giving presents. It took me a long time to get past that. But I was just dealing with a lot of nobody loves me and nobody, just feelings when I was having depression. It's really hard to see clearly, and it's really easy for everybody has a little kid inside of them. Everybody. I don't care how old they are. They might have it completely suppressed, but there's that little kid in there somewhere. The problem with the dog is she has a bone. I gave her a nice meaty bone last night, and anytime a cat comes anywhere close to her, she turns and anyway. So that's what's going on with the dog. Everybody has a little kid inside of them. When you have depression and anxiety, it's really hard to keep that under control. And everybody, most of us walk around keeping that under control and being the adults. Okay, that was then, this is now. I've grown up. Donald Trump, unfortunately, hasn't. Which is back to what I'm saying. Why do people follow him? Why do they follow him? He's such a buffoon. But it's more than the fact that he's a buffoon. It's more than the fact that I know I just completely went off what I was saying. The point about the gun, before I go back to the whole thing with why do people support Trump, the thing about the gun, it made me realize, okay, not only does nobody care for me, boo-hoo, I'm gonna cry, but my own country, my own government doesn't care for me. They don't care if I live or die. This is about the same time that my mother was no longer being able to recognize me, really. So I lost my mother, I lost my family pretty much. And being that when you're depressed and have anxiety, you tend to lose all your friends too, because nobody wants to be around a depressed person. It's not nice, but it is a fact. We're very high maintenance people with depression. Need constant affirmation, constant. Oh, you're good, you're good, you're good, you're just so good. You're such a good person. You're worth something. You have value. Depressed people need that. Or at least they think they do. They tell themselves they do. They become like emotional vampires, which is exactly what Trump is. But anyway, back to my point about the gun. It made me realize it was actually the thing that made me decide that I needed to care for me. Nobody else was going to do it. Not my friends, not my mom, not my former family, that my former husband's family, which I still adore, but they weren't going to. My government wasn't going to care. I mean, I'm not a little kid. It seems like the older you get, the less of value you have in society, the older you are. And that's just ageism. You have less value as you get old. I had to realize I had this gun. There was nothing standing between my finger and the trigger of that gun. There was absolutely nothing stopping me from pulling the trigger. So in a way, buying the gun was my big first step to getting rid of the depression, to fighting back for myself, fighting for my life, for deciding in my head, you know what, I care. I care about my life. I'm going to start to fight for me because nobody else will. So the gun was a good thing for me that I could do that, but somebody else who is really suicidal, who gets a gun and gets that message from their government, oh, we don't care. Go ahead, buy a gun. We think you have the right to buy a gun. You have suicidal depression. You were in the hospital in 4-point restraints at one point, or whatever they do when you're really, really depressed. Padded cell, whatever. You have that in your history. We're not even going to bother to read it because you're in America and you deserve to buy a gun if you want one. Who cares if you're mentally unstable and you might go shoot a bunch of Republicans on a baseball field because you're emotionally so fried by every single day having to deal with the circus that the Republicans are putting us through. Who cares? You should have a right. You should have the right to have a gun. Yeah, so somebody who's really suicidal, who really truly feels like nobody cares, and that's the message that they get when they try to find. They want to kill themselves. They go and buy the gun. There's that one last chance for something to happen that says maybe the world does care for me. Maybe somebody up there, if you're a Christian or religious, cares for me. But no, not even that. No, here you go. Have a gun. Have 2. Have 3. Enjoy. It's the last message that somebody who's suicidal might get. Might be the last straw for some people. Oh my God, even my government doesn't care if I blow myself away. So let's see, we have now people in that situation, or people who are mentally very unstable and lashing out because they're striking at whatever it is that they feel is hurting their comfortable place, which would be the Republicans. Pretty much every day on a constant basis. We are under threat. Everything that we hold dear is under threat. And those people who are mentally compromised are going to lash out. They'll either kill themselves or they'll kill somebody else. But why do people support that? Why do people support a president who wants to make it so that big oil and whatever, these big fuel companies are running the Environment Protection Agency? What the hell is that? What part of that makes sense to anybody? That the guys that want to pollute the earth in the name of making a lot of money and getting fucking richer should run the Environment Protection Agency. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The one thing that stands in the way of these billionaires polluting our planet is the Environment Protection Agency and groups like it. Let's put those people who want to pollute the planet in charge of those agencies. Yeah, great idea. And Trump has stock in some of this oil, and Trump has stock in the Dakota pipeline. Interesting how quickly he got that ball back rolling again to line his fucking pocketbook. He goes overseas, he insults other leaders, He flips them off like a little fucking kid, or pushes them because he has to be in the limelight at all times. Never mind that maybe some other country would like to see their leader standing in the front. No, we must see Trump. We can't have anybody obscuring that face, blocking that face from the camera. That face that needs constant adulation and attention all the time. Wow. Hey, no security, no threats found. Thank you, security, whatever. What about that is a good thing? That we have to be humiliated, that this man insults... London just has a major shooting, and he insults the leaders of that country. He insults Britain. He insults Germany. He insults our allies. All the civilized countries in the world want to fight against global warming because they actually believe the scientists that say, all of them, that this is real and it's happening. And Trump wants to make us be part of the third world countries, the other two third world countries that are denying that global warming is true. Nicaragua, and I probably said that wrong, Syria. So we are one of those, we are right there with Syria and Nicaragua. Nicaragua, whatever. We're right there with them. We're basically acting like a backward, quaint little third world country that doesn't understand science. It's kind of like what Christians accuse atheists of. I accuse Trump and company of. It's because you want to keep sinning. You're going to deny the reality of what science is telling you is true based on mountains of facts. You're going to deny that. I don't see it. I don't see it. It's not true. It's not true. So you could go right on polluting to your heart's content because it makes you richer. And here's another thing. Parents who support Trump, really? You don't care that your children are going to be breathing dirty air? Because the regulations to control that are going to go away. You don't care if your children drink dirty water because suddenly we're not going to care so much about keeping the water clean. Because it's so much more important for Trump and company to make money than for your child to breathe clean air and drink clean water. You don't care if the beauty around you, what little of it is left, is going to be ruined. Oh, we're going to drill right through that national park. There's oil in them there hills. We're going to drill right through that park. I love camping. I mean, I can't even imagine my childhood without camping in it. But what kind of experience of that is the future children going to get the way we're going right now? You don't care about that? You don't care what kind of planet your children have in front of them when they get to be your age, or what their children, the children of your children, your grandchildren, what kind of planet they get to live on? You don't care what your future generations, that whatever your legacy, what kind of world they have that you leave to them. You don't care about that? You'd rather support Trump, who's walking around basically saying, I want to get rid of all that. I want to get rid of clean air, clean water, parks, beauty, nature, because we need to make more money. We have we are aware of other ways to drive cars, to run things, other alternative fuel now. There's no reason that we need to continue to use fossil fuels. But except for one, some people are going to get really rich if we do. It's all about keeping certain people rich, and who cares about the future? Who cares about the quality of air and water for our children? Who cares what kind of planet our children get to live on? How can anybody support Trump? And then this man keeps things hidden. The Republican Party, they're putting together a secret health plan. They're working undercover to try to get enough of these people to agree with this health plan. Gee, what do you think it's going to have on it? We're not going to get to know until it's all done. Suddenly it's going to be implemented. Millions of people will lose their insurance, and women will lose a lot more than that. They'll lose the ability to have a lot of important care. I'm sorry, birth control pills are for more than just stopping pregnancies. birth control pills or medication for many actual illnesses that women get. So why not? Why shouldn't their insurance company cover it? Oh, but we're going to cover Viagra probably. I'm sorry, I just don't understand. This man lies through his teeth. He calls real news fake and makes up fake news and calls it real. He lies through his teeth every single day. And he's an idiot. He acts like a child. He's embarrassing and humiliating for anybody who has half a brain. It's humiliating. He's embarrassing our country. And he's threatening us. He's threatening to take away the insurance of millions of people. How can anybody support a man who would do that? Who would take away the ability for a child with cancer to get chemotherapy, or a father with a heart failure to get a heart transplant, or somebody with dementia to get medication so maybe they can hold on to reality a little longer. He wants to make it so some people who just aren't very rich can't have those things just because they don't have a lot of money. He wants to make it very hard for people who don't have a lot of money for their children to get decent educations. We want to get rid of all those private schools, public schools. We want to get rid of the public schools and only have private schools, which cost a lot of money. Gee, what's going to happen to all those children of the poor people, which that would be most of us? What's going to happen to all the ordinary kids who don't have parents that are fucking rich? Where are they going to go to school if there's no public schools? I think the answer is child labor. I think the answer is putting the children back into the labor force. And they just don't need to have educations anymore. Again, putting us back into the 1800s or making us into a third world country where poor kids just don't get to have those opportunities that rich kids do. You know, children don't really actually have a say who they're born to, what parents they get. And every single child that is born has a desire to succeed and reach their full potential. It's so unfair that a child born to a poor person should have to fight so much harder to get where they can reach their dreams than a rich child who gets everything handed to them on a silver platter. It's so unfair. And they want to make it even harder for kids now. And you support this man? Why? Why would you support that? Why would you support a man who takes away programs that feed the poor and the elderly, like Meals on Wheels? Why would you support something that would take that away from people? That's disgusting. That's cruel and inhumane. And you would support a man who would do that? Why would anybody support the GOP at all? Everything they do is designed to hurt people. Everything. Hurt people. Take away from people. Deprive people. Make it impossible for people to ... Why would you support that? Why would anybody support that? Why would anybody support a liar who swears an oath of office and doesn't even take it seriously and doesn't even seem to understand what the word oath means, and doesn't bother to read about his job, doesn't bother to read the Constitution, doesn't bother to take criticism or educate himself so he knows what the fuck he's doing? And he doesn't hire people who know anything either. He hires other ignorant people. Why would you support that? Our whole country depends on strong leadership and smart, decisive, adult-behaving leadership. And what do? We have a circus of backstabbers and liars and perjurers and people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about and think they can do things behind closed doors and covertly. We hired them. They work for us. Why would you support that? Why aren't you among all the rest of us screaming for them to be fired? Instead of calling us names because we care about our country, instead of calling us names because we care about what happens to our children and the future and the quality of the air and water we have, instead of calling us names, why are you not joining our voice? Why are you not outraged too. This is our one country. This is our one world. This is what the world sees when it looks at us now. We can't be depended on. We can't be counted on. We are unreliable. We are irresponsible. We are not America anymore. Why? Why would anybody support that man? Why would they support the people that support him? That's all I wanted to say. I felt like having a rant. If you've been watching, thanks.